that there was that part of us that was eternal. And as we look at awakening to life this morning, as we acknowledge that we are in the world but of a higher frequency, Jesus said, be in the world but not of it. And what he meant by that was that we are in the world, we're in the daily round, we're doing our life, we're getting up in the morning, we're doing the daily round of brushing our teeth and going off to wherever we go and coming back home. That's the daily round. But there is a very fine line between the daily round and nirvana, which is the highest state of heaven that we can attain to. That is heaven on earth. So when we come together to awaken to our spiritual life, that we are here to grow and to unfold, that life goes not backward nor tarries with yesterday, that life is the forward progression of the soul. And what we notice, and we are unfolding, and in this unfoldment there are times that we reach an impasse, we plateau out, and that is the universe saying, go deeper. Dig deeper inside the soil of your own consciousness and bring those things forth that have been laying dormant. I believe that we all come into the planet knowing that we're all one, feeling that love that passes all understanding. And then along the way we are programmed, we learn different things, and we have to relearn and get back to that place of spirit by awakening to our spiritual life, by recognizing that we are created in the image and likeness of God, whatever we conceive our God to be, whatever name we put on our higher power, to really know it's within us, that we can feel it, and that energetically we're so much greater than we ever thought we could be, because there is the seed of perfection within us that wants to be watered with the energy of love, of beauty, of aliveness, of balance, of all those things that bring us to that place of peace, the peace that passes all understanding, the peace of God, whatever we conceive our God to be. I loved when Reverend Mary Electra invited C.J. Henley to our Wednesday Night Live, and she did a whole evening on the whispering drum. And you think, how can, and her whole life is about drums, and every kind of size and shape of drum, but shamanic drums. The drums that you tap and resonate into the ethers, and everyone and anyone who is in that energy field feels it. And then she had a table, and people got on the table, and she just went and she rubbed and in the circular fashion on the drum, and it created this amazing resonance. And everyone who laid down on the table arose from that table and said, oh, something happened. Something shifted inside of me. What happens is we surrender. We let go and let God do what God does best by means of us. Because we are in the world. We're to have our experience. We're to live, to laugh, to weep, to go through all the human emotions and to come out on the other side of them. Realizing that, yes, there's a lot of work to do on the planet, but the truth is, we can do what we can where we are with the tools that we've been given. And that when we put that energy forth, when we recognize that we're of this higher vibratory frequency, energetically we don't get caught up as much in the stuff of this world. And we give our power away. We can be given our power away every single day. And it's about listening to the still small voice of God that is within us. That is our intuition. There's a story about a Zen master, and he said to one of his devotees, a young monk, he said, take your cup, look into the cup. You will see the universe there. He took his cup and he looked inside. And he said, I see nothing. And he threw it away. And the Zen master, as the monk walked, said, oh, poor monk, poor monk, that the universe is there for each and every one of us. It's in a smile. It's in the emanation of a heart. It's in the energy of this day. The universe is there for us. And we are that wonderful energy that gives it form. How are we going to give it form? I was at a seminar years ago, and the seminar leader, he stood up and he said, what is this? And everybody in the audience said, it's a $20 bill. And so he crumpled it all up, straightened it out, and he said, what is this? And everyone said, it's a $20 bill. And he said, do you still want it? And everyone shook their head, yes, of course. Then he crumpled it all up, he threw it down, and he stomped on it. Then he picked it up and he said, what is it? And everyone said, it's a $20 bill. Do you still want it? Yes, I do. And he said, interesting, because this is what life does. It has retained its value. Just as you have retained your value, though some of the choices you make, it crumples you up, you feel stomped on, you feel all of those feelings in between, but you have still retained your intrinsic value. You are created in something so much greater than this $20 bill. The value is always within you no matter what you go through. And though we feel crumpled and stomped on and all of those energies, we can rise through that and come out on the other side. And when we come out on the other side, we can hear the whispering drum. We can hear the voice of the universe and what it's saying inside of us, that we are of value, that we are created in the image and likeness of something so much greater than what we are. And that as we speak this word into the law of mind, that universe hears every single word and returns in full-blown expression of that which we have set forth. Every day is a new opportunity to arise and say, this is a brand new day. It's never been lived in. And I'm going to step into this brand new day. And I'm going to create the energy, the miracles, the life that I have always envisioned. And when we begin to reprogram ourselves and we begin to open to the universe and the gifts that are there and an attitude of gratitude. I love what Reverend Linda gave me, this woman that she takes these popular songs and she makes affirmations out of them. And I've been listening. Every time I get in the car, I turn on the key and she's saying, I have an attitude of gratitude. And she's got jazzy, it's jazz tunes. And she's singing all these fantastic songs. And it's just, what are you doing? You are embodying. Remember the old song? Born to lose. Oh, born to lose. We'd get into it, crying in our beer or whatever. Or martini. And we were programming ourselves. No one's born to lose. Everyone has that star energy. And that is radiating from that light and that peace and that beauty, because there is a whispering drum within us, and it's the heartbeat of the universe, and it resonates at Christ consciousness, the Buddha nature, the holy I am presence. It doesn't matter what we call it, but to realize it is there, it is ever present. Behold those that have eyes to see, that can look into the cup and go, ah, yes, and someone got me a new cup, I like it. Look in and say, the universe is gazing back to me. The universe is there for me. That I and my Father, Mother, God are one. And what Jesus said, what he meant by that is, there is no otherness. You are as close to God as I am ever going to get. And I am as close to God as you are ever going to get. And if I am in that place in me and you are in that place in you, there truly is only one of us. It moves beyond color, race, creed, and sexual orientation, because our God is a God of oneness. And when I say we have no creed but love, love one another as I have loved you. That was the great commandment. And we have no doctrine but the golden rule, do unto others as you would have them do unto you. That really kind of narrows it down a bit, doesn't it? To recognize you are my brother, my sister. Am I my brother's keeper, or am I my brother and my sister? It's that oneness that moves beyond all conditions and comes out on the other side. And when we come out on the other side, we recognize why we are here. That each and every one of us, we all have a life path. We all have a life lesson. And through that life lesson, it comes to us, and we can receive it. And it doesn't always come to us in the greatest way. Sometimes it comes through great suffering and tragedy. And as we come out on the other side of that, then our hearts are deepened. Our hearts are opened so that we can serve others in a greater way. The ancient Bodhisattva, the Buddhist, said that they would come back into life, and they would come back with healing, helping hands out of the former life that they had lived. So when we can come back in this lifetime out of the former life we have lived, out of all the experiences that we have allowed ourselves to embody. Because we can read this stuff, we can go to seminars, we can go to vision quests, we can study with shamans, teachers, sages of the ages, and unless we embody this, it's sounding brass and a tinkling cymbal and goes nowhere. How many times do we hear people mouth this stuff and they do something completely different? There's a huge gap between action and what they're embodying. So it's not do as I say, it's do as I do, that there is an energy, there is an example. So when we begin to embody this way of life and realize our oneness, and that we don't have to give our power away, and we don't have to get angry, even though I do believe in righteous anger. But I believe in it transmuted so that we can take positive action. And when we take positive action, then the world is made a better place. The world is made a gentler place. Because there are those energies that care so deeply that they march into hell for a heavenly cause. And what I know is that they lead the way, that in our own small way, we can do what works. And we can talk a good game, but we must put the action with intention. Faith without works is dead. It's totally dead. We got to put the works with the faith. That our daily life is our temple and our religion. Choose ye this day whom you will serve. The story of the woodcutter who went to the big timber boss and said that he wanted to work there. And so he said fine, and he hired him, and he had his axe. And the first day he felled 15 trees, and it was for a special village in the area, and he was so proud of himself, what he had, and his axe had done. And then the second day he felled 12, and then the third day it was like 10, and it kept getting less and less and less, and the good old axe wasn't doing what it once did. And he went to the timber boss and said, I'm so sorry, I don't know, I'm putting just as much effort and energy into it, but the old axe is, it's just not doing what it used to. And so the timber boss said, well, are you sharpening the axe? Oh gee, I never thought of that. Sharpen your axe, and you will have those results that you are seeking. So how many of us are going within and meditating, sharpening that energy within us so that we can be in the world and not of it? That we can experience the spiritual life by means of who we are. That everyone and anyone who comes within our energy field is healed and uplifted in our presence. That we have such an opportunity every single day of our lives to make a difference. And even if we're in our house and we don't go anywhere, I always light a candle. I always set sacred space. And then I say the prayer, the love of God surrounds me, the light of God enfolds me, the power of God protects me, and the presence of God watches over me. Wherever I am, God is. And that prayer of protection I send out to our community, and I send it out to our nation and to the globe, because wherever I go in the world, whether I'm lecturing in Africa or Norway or England or wherever I'm going, I know that there is a oneness and there is an energy and there is a light that goes before me and prepares the way. That we have such an opportunity each and every day of our lives to make a difference. And we don't have to go anywhere. They also serve who only stand and wait. It means in that place of peace, in that energy that allows us to open to what we are. And what I know is it's an amazing place. It's an absolutely amazing place that we live in, and that we can choose this day. And I'm really looking at choices, that it's all about the choices. And that when we plateau out, if we're not going to the next level, then we're going down the spiral. So it's up to us to keep growing and unfolding. Take the words off the page and embody it in our daily life, which is our temple and our religion. And to have a bucket list of things that we would like to do, no matter how wild. It's amazing how those things come to fruition. And when they come to fruition, we can say, yes, I indelibilize that on some level within my own consciousness, and that I'm stepping into my true spiritual estate, that I'm recognizing that I am worthy, that I am of value, that you can stomp on me and crumple me and I can do it to myself, but I'm still of value and I can pass through this. And when I pass through this, something begins to happen. And it's interesting, last Sunday we went out to breakfast, and we were doing our beautiful ceremony of our ordinations and our installation, our doctoral conferment. And the owner of the restaurant went around and said, does anyone own, like a classic older Mercedes white 560 SL? And he said, and it's God and Company is the license. Gee, I wonder who that can be, right? And I said, yes, I do. And he said, well, your car rolled into another car. And I said, oh my gosh, I must not have put it in park. That, we were clickety-clickety-click. So I went out to the parking lot, and I saw that my car did not roll backward. It rolled forward. I was laughing. I said, oh my gosh, it rolled forward. And it looked like a flat, it looked flat. And so I looked at the other car, and I have rubber around the bumper, so it really didn't do anything. And it was interesting. I got in the car, I backed it up, and I put it in park. And I said, I had an intuition. I don't know, just some intuition this morning. And I had remembered something. I had remembered someone when my daughter was 5 years old, and we were on our way to kindergarten, and a man was so angry that he just pulled out of his driveway, didn't look to the right or left, and slammed right into us. And it was so interesting that I thought of that morning, because I remembered that, I did it like a little prayer for him, and I told him I wouldn't report it to my insurance, that, he could fix it on his own. And I was just, I was just 30 years old. And it was so interesting that came up, and I thought, well, I think that there are signs and symbols that come up for us to slow down and to breathe. And I love that this was a lesson with ease and grace. This was not like a hard lesson that many of us have learned, right? It was a lesson with ease and grace. Put the car in park, for crying out loud. Do the things that we need to do because we are in the world. And even if we're of a higher spiritual value, you still put the car in park. You still do what you need to do to be in the world, but not of it. To open to the spiritual awakening that is there for us. To sharpen our axe, to sharpen that mentality. To open to the truth that sets us free to be who and what we are. And when we allow ourselves to do that, that's where the miracles happen in our spiritual life. So I say to you, God bless you. That I know that we are going someplace, and that someplace is what? Higher yet. Where are we going? Higher yet. Where? Higher yet. And so it is. God bless you. I love you. And I am so pleased that we're here together.